And welcome back to the old Gab Box. Back in the studio for a few days, back from the John Deere Classic, worked for PGA Tour Live. And our next guest, I was lucky enough to work with Will Mackenzie. But all this brought to you by Casa de Campo in the Dominican Republic. I'll be going down in less than 2 weeks. Never been. Excited about it. Gilles Gagnon, the Director of Golf Emeritus, is going to take me all around. We're going to play the Dive 4, the Links, La Romana Country Club. The views are spectacular. The food is incredible. The atmosphere, the camaraderie of the people are just going to be so special. Again, check it out. One of the best golf vacays you'll ever have, casadecampo.com. All right, our next guest, Will Mackenzie, longtime PGA Tour player, PGA Tour winner, now on PGA Tour Champions, and doing a lot of work for PGA Tour Live, the streaming service for the PGA Tour, and does a great job, by the way. If you listen to Will, you learn a lot. And he joins me now from Tequesta CC down in Jupiter, Florida. Willie Mack, what's going on, my friend?
Well, it's a lot cooler hitting here in the boardroom at Tequesta Country Club. I was just outside, and boy, it is hot. So, Doug, no reason to even come down here for a while. Go to Casa de Campo and just enjoy yourself. That sounds like an epic trip.
You know, the beach down in Jupiter, by the way, if you walk like, let's say noon to like 3 o'clock, you'll burn your feet if you don't have shoes on. The sand is hot.
Oh, yeah, you got to be right down there by the ocean. That first, 50 yards coming off the boardwalks there, the stairs, oh, man, you have to sprint. I burned my feet several times. Yeah, you got to wear shoes. That's the trick, or sandals or something.
You know, Willie Mack, that's what all his close friends call him, Will Mackenzie. He is the most interesting man in the world. And remember those old commercials, like the old Spanish guy? That was really Will Mackenzie. Because, Will, I mean, listen, you're not just a golfer. You're a Renaissance guy, right? Fishing, I know you love to fish, snow ski, snowboard, surfing. I mean, basically, you dabble in anything, right? That's fun. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I'm kind of like the man of many talents, master of none, I guess. I did everything on a pretty decently high level, Doug. I was a pretty good athlete growing up, and I would literally go play golf, play 27, and my mom would pick me up. Then I'd go skate a vert ramp, a big half-pipe vert ramp in the afternoon with Chuck Taylors on. I just loved both ways. It never struck me as being anything weird. I did start focusing on golf at 12, 13. And at 14, I had already burned out. So I was never meant to play just that. It was just too much on me. I liked the diversity.
You know, it is interesting because you do a lot of things, but you are incredibly knowledgeable about the game. And that's why I enjoy working with you, because you teach me a lot of things. I mean, listen, I know you have a lot of fun, you joke around, but you keep up with the game, my friend. I mean, whether it's equipment or whatever these guys are doing off the golf course, I mean, you stay pretty focused on the modern game. There's no doubt about it.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm definitely not the smoothest deliverer of words. I've never been a wordsmith, but I do know golf pretty well. And early on, one of my producers told me, they said, Willie Mack, you're a little bit unique. Just watch the game and stay on top of it. Make sure you know what's going on, the latest and the greatest, and use your knowledge, your athleticism, and show what's happening right on the screen. So that's what I've tried to do. Try to keep up with it, and that's all I can deliver. And you either like it or not, or you don't. I don't know.
Well, you do a great job. You really do, and I'm saying that in all sincerity. And I really enjoyed working the JDC with you. You know, it is interesting. Brian Campbell, the guy who wins. Not a household name. I mean, we know who he is. The average fan of the PGA Tour doesn't know a lot about Brian Campbell, even though he's won twice now. You played with the guy back in 2016 when he got his card, would lose it, and then it took him a long time to get it back. I mean, what a great story, Will. I hope we don't lose these stories, but to think this guy hung around. I mean, he could have quit. He could have gone back and been a club professional somewhere. But this guy hung on, and now he has 2 wins in 1 season. It really is a remarkable story.
Yeah, I hope this resonates. Story. I played with Brian in 2017. His best finish that season, tied for 12th at the John Deere Classic. This guy endured perseverance. There's a lot of that gut checks in golf over the course of your career that it's like, am I going to go big or I'm going home? am I going to give up here? Because there's so many roadblocks, in your way to try to fight against Scotty Scheffler's. I mean, when I was out there, I was trying to fight against Tiger Woods. It's like an unfair battle. So he persevered, and he's got something special. He's a great putter. And when you're a great putter, a la Sam Burns, you're a top 5, top 10 putter out there, you can still play and be a little bit short. Because Brian is very short. He's one of our shortest hitters, if not our shortest hitter on the PGA Tour at around 275.
It is remarkable to think he won in Mexico, he won the John Deere, and all the tournaments in between, like 14 or 15 tournaments, he averaged like a 58th place finish. But he found, you're right, he putted great the 2 wins, but he found 2 golf courses where you didn't have to have extraordinary length. And it just goes to show you a guy who's a short hitter can still win on the PGA Tour, where it clearly is, as you know, it's a bomber's game right now.
It seems to be. And Mexico typically is more of a bomber. You had some, like, I think Finau won, John Rahm, that type of player, Jake Knapp. Did Jake win? I think that was his maiden win. That was a surprise there, but John Deere, not so much. We talked about it all week. Steve Stricker running the clock back, winning a hat trick 3 in a row. Zach Johnson winning, not the longest player. There's other players that have won there that aren't the longest. You don't have that many opportunities when you're hitting it a bit shorter, but it shows you if you've got great iron play and you can rock that wand, that flat stick, you can still play out there on the PGA Tour and succeed.
Will, it is interesting, and you describe yourself as a journeyman. I mean, you had some really good years. I remember interviewing you a lot when you won and you were in contention all the time. But the John Deere Classic was interesting because as we looked at the leaderboard on Sunday, the first page, you had all these stories. I mean, you had a 47-year-old Matt Kuchar, 43-year-old Camilo Villegas. You had Brian Campbell. You had guys trying to get their card. I mean, you had Jackson Cuevan, a 20-year-old amateur. I hope we don't lose those stories as the tour kind of segues to smaller fields, bigger names. I just think what we had last week at the John Deere Classic was, in my mind, for those of us who love the game, I just think it's super important. I hope we don't lose that. Do you think we will, or will there always be a place for that on the PGA Tour?
Well, we're trying to lose it, and it's very unfortunate because those tournaments, that community is absolutely epic. I'm talking epic. We saw how big that crowd comes out at the end. I don't care if it's Scotty Scheffler playing 18. He's still got to hit the shots. Guys go off that week, and it's always a riveting finish. Full player fields are a dying breed, unfortunately, with going down to 100. I don't know what to do there, Doug. Now going into the media side of it a little bit, I know the household names are what's most important. It is. People want to see the average fan knows Scotty Scheffler, Bryson DeChambeau, Xander Schauffele, and a few others. I mean, that's what they know, whereas we know every single player and then some. We know 400 or 500 players that we can know exactly where they're born and raised. I'm praying that it doesn't, because these poor towns are gonna struggle if they go. But I feel like it's making those fields a little stronger now, since these guys everybody's wanting to get into those signature events. So some of these smaller events are getting good fields, and we had a great field this week.
We did have a great field. I loved it. I loved the John Deere Classic. And now we kind of move overseas where all the big boys are back. And I wanted to ask you this because, listen, the top 10 players in the world are all there at the Genesis Scottish Open, the precursor to the Open Championship, the final major. You played with Tiger. You know Tiger. You lived down in Jupiter with Tiger and his family, etc. And he was the superstar of superstars. Scotty Scheffler is the complete opposite. He's the best guy who tries to avoid the publicity. He's not in commercials. There is no controversy. He's not on social media. Is that good for the game to have the best player in the world by a wide margin? And he just kind of he's a superstar, doesn't want a lot of publicity. Is that good?
It's good for him. It's not. I don't think it's great for golf necessarily, and the general public. The fan, they want more. Absolutely, they want interaction. He's got no social media presence, but he's playing Tiger-like. I mean, since the players, Scotty has not finished outside the top 10. That has 3 wins. I mean, we were talking about early in the year, like, oh no, he had those 7 wins plus the hero and the Olympics last year, basically 9 wins. I mean, it was a Tiger year. I
Yeah.
mean, all the numbers paralleled those epic years from T Dub, and now he's probably going to do it again. He's going to backdoor probably 5 wins. I mean, he's getting rested. All those big boys needed rest, and they were able to do so. Everybody does it differently, and I just feel like our top dogs, there just hasn't been a radical presence like Tiger Woods. You had confrontational guys more, like a BK, and Dustin had that mystique, but none of the other guys do. I mean, Colin Morikawa is awesome but boring. These other guys they're focused on golf and trying to stay just streamlined or whatever you call it, like a flat line. That's kind of how you have to do it. No big Tiger fist pumps. And I think we are going to scream for something like that in the near future.
Well, he is the reluctant superstar, and Tim Duncan for the San Antonio Spurs was the same way, and yet he produced and was one of the greatest basketball players of all time. So I think Scotty is kind of headed in that same direction. It's about his personality, and I like that personality. He's reluctant to get involved with any sort of controversy. Michael Jordan was the same way back in the day. He didn't want to talk about politics, so I respected that. I guess in the same senses as Airness, Scotty kind of lets his clubs do the talking, right? I mean, that's what he wants to do.
And what's wrong with that, Doug? I mean, these guys, they've already got a spotlight on him. He's getting crushed with media 24/7. We saw what happens to Rory. Rory tries to be a little bit more involved and really speak his mind, and then he gets drained. I mean, he's like tired because he's having to deal with it. The media is all over you, trying to get your opinions and put them in a spot of maybe bother, whereas if they start playing poorly, they're no longer superstars. I mean, it can be taken away from you pretty quickly. There's been some big guys that were, I mean, household names, and then like as soon as you start making bogeys, you're donezo in this game.
Yeah, no question about it. Now, it is interesting as we go from the Genesis Scottish Open in North Berwick at the Renaissance Club. I just love saying it that way.
Yeah.
To Royal Portrush in Northern Ireland. Shane Lowry was last to win it there 5 years ago. And now Rory comes back. Remember, 5 years ago, he shot 79 in the opening round, misses the cut. So I know he is a motivated guy the last major of the year. What do you think about Rory? Maybe, I mean, there was a lull after the Masters. Now he's back, a place he really wanted the Masters, and I know he really wants the Open at Royal Portrush. This is kind of a big deal for him.
Yeah, I think it is a big deal, but the biggest deal of all was that winning Augusta.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen what's happened since then. It's not been perfect, but it doesn't matter. The weight's off his shoulders. I think he's going to free up, getting back in his homeland, home grass. And I could see Roy, I would think that he'll be in contention on Sunday. I mean, it's going to be incredible because all the boys, everybody's playing so well right now, even your non-household names. It's that part of the year, where if you're not dialed in right now, you're not working on anything. You've got your clubs dialed in. People do that. There's swing fixes during the middle of the year, but we're getting down there where it's all hands on deck. I'm sure most of these guys are totally dialed in, and it's going to be a crazy Open Championship, I bet.
Oh, I can't wait. And I love it just because it's so unique. And I had an opportunity to go over 5 or 6 years in a row for ESPN back a few years back, and it was just so much fun, Will. All right, so we come back for the playoffs, the Tour Championship. I mean, I know you're getting ramped up for the Ryder Cup, right? I mean, even though it's football season, Will, come on. That may be the biggest golf event of the modern era.
Yeah, I mean, it's setting up to be, and because it's at Bethpage.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it's just the crazy New York fan. The U.S. is like everybody in Europe is winning. I mean, their team is going to be just so good. And they're playing a lot of American golf, all those guys. They're playing over here on the USPGA. So I don't think the U.S. has as big of an advantage on home soil as you might think. I think Keegan is vital. I think Keegan is key. Is he going to play or is he going to captain?
I think he's going to play.
Wow. Okay. Well, good for him. Well, who's going to captain? I don't know. I'd love to go out there and help out in any way I can, like just be a handler like drive a cart around and bring them power bars and peanut butter and jellies, Uncrustables. But I think it's going to be the craziest sporting event. Besides a major, it's right there. It's like a major with the fans. I hope we have good weather, and of course, I hope the U.S. just roll on those guys. And I love all the guys on the European tour. I'm tight with them, or I'm friendly with them. But let's go, USA, baby.
I could see you not necessarily working the event, just in the crowd with the New York fans, Will. You'd eat that electricity up, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I might just fly up there for that. I mean, what a sporting event that would be. It's going to be crazy. I mean, they're going to have a lot of police presence because it's going to get rowdy. I can only imagine.
Hey, Will, tell me this and again, Will Mackenzie, coming to us from Cuesta Country Club, Jupiter, Florida. That's his home. So many PGA Tour pros, Americans and Europeans have moved down to Jupiter, Will. A lot of reasons. And I think our listeners want to know, we hear a lot about the medalist. You're at Cuesta Country Club, which is a great track. There's the Bears Club, which is this phenomenal layout behind these big walls that the Golden Bear designed many years ago. You have Grove 23. That's Michael Jordan's place, Will. And I don't know how many guys go out there. Here, the practice facility is pretty good. Of course, President Trump has his place, Trump International at Mar-a-Lago. I don't know how many pros go out there unless they get invited by the president. But the courses down there, did I leave anything out? Or is that where pretty much all these guys are kind of all spread out?
Yeah, I mean, both Trumps, Trump Jupe, Trump International, have some players. Obviously, Metal, Bears, Grove, and then Cuesta Country Club and Turtle Creek are all like a second golf course. This is just because everyone lives right in here on the river, right around the river. Daniel Bergers and Ricky Fowlers, they all live on the river, and it's just easy to come over here. Like I just was chatting with Ricky. He came out. He's got his track band, his GC quad. He's going to do a little workout here today because it's 3 minutes from his house, and he's got 2 kids over there that he needs to get back to. So if you go all the way to Grove, it's a little bit of a trek. It's more like I'm going to go spend the day there or half the day there. Whereas here, these guys come out, and I used to do it all the time. You'd come out for 3 hours. It's hot. My phone just broke down a second ago out there for a heat warning. So you really don't want to spend that much time out there anyway. So guys will come down here in Turtle and do a short practice. But yeah, the big ones are always Medalist Bears, Grove, and now it's going to be Atlantic Fields, and a few guys are at Apogee as well. Rory's going to be a founding member out at Apogee, and so is Ernie Els. So that's going to be one of the craziest practice facilities in the United States.
So, Will, I mean, you live down there with all these guys. I mean, all you guys, either past champions, current champions, whatever. I mean, obviously, there's no state income tax. Airports are great, whether it's commercially or private. All you guys like the water. I think all you guys like to fish. It is, Jupiter Island is kind of private. So, there's nice schools there for the kids if you're raising families. I mean, those are all the reasons, right, that so many pros are going down there to Southeast Florida?
Yeah, and the agronomy of the private golf course. I mean, Bears Club is Jack Nicklaus's baby. He lives there. I mean, he lives at Lost Tree, but he takes care of it like it's Muirfield Village. I mean, so when you have that ability to go practice, you're 25 years old, man, this is definitely the place to be, to come. And it's good to raise a family. Like you said, the good school systems. I raised mine. My boys are 16 and 15. They're doing just fine. They're loving it. They're like diehard fishermen and golfers and lacrosse. And we've got great sports. It's safe for the most, pretty much very safe, clean, which we like. And, those are just a few of the reasons to move here. It's expensive. There's no doubt about that. But that's one thing. That's the price you pay to live in paradise. It's warm, and most tour pros were gone during the summer because we're playing. So that's why we came down here.
As if Shane Lowry lives down in the Palm Beach Gardens area, and he loves it down there. But he said this time of year when the heat is so intense is when the family goes back over to Ireland and stays with family and that sort of thing. So I guess that's kind of a nice mix too. And a lot of these guys do have other homes. So obviously that's what happens there, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the big time guys they're going up north. I mean, I got one kid that's, and obviously I'm small time, but I just send my kids I'm like, yeah, I'd send them with some other dad and friend. They're up in Nantucket or somewhere right now. But just loving life. It's like 70 degrees up there. But yeah, guys have other houses, and yeah, you're just not here. And if you are, you're inside. Go find a simulator, or if you need to practice, or practice for like Ricky and Ryan Armour and Russ Cochran. They're all out here today. They still get their reps, but it's going to be 2 or 3 hours, and then they're sitting at the house. Go to the gym. There's plenty of stuff to do, or go swimming.
Yeah, that sounds good, especially in the ocean. All right, 2 more questions before I let you go, because I know you got something going. You got a game waiting, I'm sure. The big cat, obviously you see him down there from time to time, and he's following Charlie around for all these big junior tournaments. He looks good in the pictures, in the video, the short little clips. Is Tiger ever going to play again, Will, or physically his body's just broken down?
You know, I hate to speak for Tiger, but I personally think he's done.
Yeah.
I just think there's too much wear and tear on that leg. I think he's going to play Champions Tour. And if he loves to compete, I mean, he'll throw dice against you. So, I mean, he'll do anything. If he can ride in a golf cart, he can play and win. But walking, I mean, the rigors of professional golf, I'm telling you, man, yeah, you think walking, but you're walking up hills, down hills, up hills, down hills. And when he's got that leg that is so compromised, ankle, the knee, and then that starts, it's a chain reaction. It goes from your foot all the way into, I mean, he's got his back's fused.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff. So Dub needs to be able to ride in a cart and walk small distances. So you can't do a full week. Even on Champions Tour, he's going to play the majors. The majors are 4 days. So what is he going to, I mean, some of them are even walking in the majors. So I think whenever he can ride, I think he will play because he loves to compete.
Yeah, and listen, I've been so fortunate to have been involved with PGA Tour radio for more than 2 decades, all because of him. And the fact that I got to walk inside the ropes and watch him perform the highest level I can possibly fathom was really one of the highlights of my career. And speaking of that, I wanted to ask you this as we close. And I appreciate the time today. And we're going to have you back on, obviously, because you are the most interesting man in the world. Looking back on your career, the people you played with, I mean, obviously, Tiger, you were playing during the Tiger era. But, I mean, you were there, when Greg Norman was still playing, and Ernie Els and Nick Faldo and Colin Montgomery. I mean, all these great players, obviously some are on PGA Tour champions. And you segue to the current players, which is Rory and some of these other guys. I mean, Will, you were very fortunate, and I know you can't compare eras, but my, oh my, looking at your career when you started to where you are now, you got to feel pretty lucky because you have rubbed elbows with some of the greatest that have ever played this game.
Yeah, I got to play a few events with guys that live down here. Nick Price.
Yeah, Nick Price, sure.
Norman. Like some absolute animals. We're talking beasts. We're talking about big, strong dudes that hit it forever. Nick Price was obviously a precision player. But then Ernie, Retief, obviously T-Dub, VJ, and Phil. I mean, I felt like there was more big-time talent when I came out. And I was very starstruck. Playing that first time I played at Torrey Pines, I get there late. You always get in late when you're a rookie. You get it. You're like alternate. You get in like Tuesday afternoon, so you fly there. So you come out there Wednesday morning and go on the range, and you're hitting balls in between Ernie Els and Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods. And you're like, they are going to kill me. I got no chance against these dudes. You're over there 5'10", 5'11", and they're all 6'2", and just strapping and hitting it forever. So, yeah, I mean, it was a perfect time. I got to meet them, so they've always be friendly with me. When I went out on the Champions Tour, all those guys come up to me and like, Willie Mack, what's up? What are you doing with your life? Are you playing? Are you trying to commentate? Whatever. They're really, really good dudes, and I was definitely fortunate, but I did get to play with this next level a little bit, like Scotty and Roars. And, Roars shot 61 on me on Saturday. One time we played at Charlotte when he won. We were like just right off the lead going into Saturday, like second to last group. And that's when I knew. And it was like 2015. I go, man, this guy's so much better than me. He's hitting at 330 in the air. And I definitely need to find a real job sooner or later. But it was just cool. I mean, that's the way it is now. You got these guys coming out now; they're hitting it forever. But yeah, I was in a cool time. I think I was in a very cool. I would have loved to have been out there with Nicklaus and Palmer and those guys, though. That would have been awesome.
Well, I mean, you played your career overlapped two incredible eras in the game.
Right.
And
they are.
And some of the, you know, when you started naming those names, I said, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't mention VJ and Nick Price and Retief Goosen. My goodness, you had a long list there.
Yeah, I mean, Retief hit it so hard. He hit the back of the ball so pure in his prime. I mean, he still hits it nice, but boy, he was the originator of getting it a little bit in and rerouting it just a hair on top and absolutely smothering that thing, hitting it hard. And God, he was so pure. They all were. Those big. I always told people when they talked about the tour player, I said, there's 10 of them that are just better. There's 10 of them, at least in my era, I thought. And then everybody else is really great, and they're just hoping they bring their A game and can try to maybe squeak a win out when those guys are in contention, because they're just a little bit better. There's always someone bigger, stronger, and faster. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
In athletics.
No, absolutely. And they just keep coming, man. They just keep coming no matter what sport. Hey, Will, we appreciate it, my friend. Stay cool today. I will see you soon. And I was going to say have fun, but I guess that goes without saying with you.
Yeah, I'm going to try to have fun today.
Thanks, my
One
friend.
day at a time.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Doug.
All right, buddy.
Appreciate it, brother.
Bye-bye.